Okay, so I think, okay, hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. So, in PS362, we had the modified Stroop. So if you recall, we had the word presented and the participant has to indicate the color of the ink of the word. So red is presented in red ink, so you press R on the keyboard. Red is presented in yellow, and then you indicate press Y on the keyboard, right on the computer keyboard. But we also manipulated the duration of the word, of the Stroop word. So if it was red, for example, it would be sometimes it'd be presented for 2,000 milliseconds. In other case, it would present for 4,000 milliseconds. So that was supposed to increase the time pressure. And so the idea was, well, if you have time pressure to respond, that should decrease inhibitory control. So for the lower presentation time of 2 seconds, participants would be worse in the incongruent compared to the congruent, whereas in the 4 second, they would be the difference would be smaller between the incongruent and congruent trials. Overall, the participants would do worse on the incongruent compared to the congruent trials, right? So here is you have the data, the raw data extracted from Gorilla. You have 103 to 1016. So this is the participant public ID. And so we have the event index. I don't need the event index. I don't need the local time. I can go up here and delete it. So this is deleted. I want the participant public ID. So I want the participant public ID. I don't want, if it was a Mac, desktop Safari, I don't want that. So I'll go up to here. I'll go up to display. Because I'll show you now there's some parts which I need and some parts which I do not need of this data path. So one important aspect here is during the experiment, there was a continue and then there was a response, and then the continue and then continue and then response, right? There was a fixation, word on word, word on screen, continue. So you want to remove the trials where there was no response required. So we want to remove those because that's what we're measuring, right? When the participant is responding with GRYRB. Um, GYRBYRB. That's correct. Yeah, any of those letters. So we do data filter over here, filter, and I just want the response part, so I just want to take this out, and I will delete all those trials. Right bottom. A faster way, of course, would be doing it in R, and I'll just clean that up in R Python, but for the purpose of this course, we'll just do this one. If you know R, you're welcome to try it. So we can do response, trial, we don't need display, we don't need that. We want the response, we want reaction time. So PS362, we are only looking at reaction time here. We can assume that all of them were correct in terms of the responses. We could also look at correct responses, but ignore that for now. And this is the reaction time. Reaction time. Keyboard, the response. I'll go up to here. And we have the spreadsheet, Word, then the color. So this comes all from the spreadsheet, right? And so we're all good. It looks like we're all set for JASP. So this is how the data file should be looked at in terms of how it would be imported into, well, you wouldn't have this for the JAS because you'd be calculating the mean for each condition. So for example, here I could delete this and I mean, sorry, you want to get the average for the congruent and incongruent trials. And so once you clean it, you've cleaned it, now you want to get those measures. So insert, and so I'll just show you what I mean. So mean, congruent, um, I mean, obviously this is already indicated as being congruent, congruent reaction time for the 3 second, for the 2 second, and then you have congruent reaction time and so forth for the 4 second, 4 second, and this is what you need to get from your data. And then you take the average and just put it here, right? Or you could do it with filter, right? A filter helps in terms of for the data filter congruent trials. This would give you the congruent trials, and you want the 2000 milliseconds, right? And so you want for participant 103, for example, you can get the mean for here for the congruent trials in terms of the reaction time. Uh, would filtering allow me to do this? So I could just copy this and then get the average for those numbers here. And I can just, oh, it's missing one, 899, 834, 838, 8744, 899, and I get the average here. Average, which is the mean, and you need, how does it look like? But anyways, you will get the average for these values here. But because it's in filter, it wouldn't allow me to do calculate. So I could open up a new sheet and then just enter those numbers there. So let's do that. And that will be for 101. No, for me, normally I use R code, which, or Python, which allows me to not having to do this filtering in Excel, but R would allow me to filter with just one line of script. And I could also, maybe you've heard the dplyr or tidy package, which has these, the dplyr, which can allow me to do that. And then I can aggregate it by congruent or incongruent trials and by 2000, of course, two, 2 seconds or 4 seconds, and then I can do the analysis. Okay? Um, in terms of statistical analysis, I haven't used R for statistical analysis because I feel like JASP is more intuitive in terms of analysis. But R can also be used in terms of the statistical analysis. So here we have it after we have cleaned up the data, and then we've got our averages. Here it is. You can see congruent 2 second, congruent 4000 millisecond, congruent 2000 milliseconds, and we have um, this data file. We have only 16 participants, so I'll do ANOVA because we have two variables. Then when I bring it in, I can change my factor here. I'll put in congruent, congruency, congruency, and then I'll make it to congruent and incongruent. And then we can have the duration of the Stroop word, and that was 2000. And then we have 4000 milliseconds, and I can move them across. So I'll set up nicely. Actually, I can move them across, so I'll just move one at a time. And you can see our data analysis here. P is less than 0.001, 0.091, 0.489. So it says congruency is significant, duration is not significant, and there's no interaction between the two variables. If there is an interaction, we can always do post hoc t-tests. Okay? Since there's none, we don't need to do any post hoc t-test, partial eta squared. We can look at the marginal means just to see where that significance. And descriptive plots, probability, duration, display error bar, standard error. So what we see from our data is 942. So it looks like for the 4,000 overall for the seconds, you don't see much of it's faster response time for 4 seconds for both congruent and incongruent. And as expected, and actually what is interesting is the difference is similar for the 4,000 for 200 milliseconds in the terms of difference between congruent and incongruent. So if this was a bit lower here, which I would have expected more, so maybe at 1,000 versus 900, the line, then you would see an interaction, but you don't see it that much over here. Yeah, so that's about it in terms of the marginal means here. You can see congruency. You're only considering congruency for one hypothesis. So you would expect incongruent trials there will be less time in terms of response compared to the congruent trials. Faster response time for the congruent compared to the incongruent. Duration, we don't see much of a difference regardless of the congruency. And we don't see an interaction for the congruency and duration. So that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in class or email me, or you can meet me through my office hours. Teaching assistants are also available. Thank you.